Okay, hello. Welcome to episode 7 of Should I Make My Family Watch, a podcast where I make my family and friends watch crappy horror and sci fi movies so you don't have to. I'm your host, Desiree, and joining me this week is author Jerry Blaze. Welcome. We're going to give you a detailed breakdown of the storyline. Not that detailed, actually, I've decided. I'm just going to break it down of this piece of crap, and then we're going to rate it on the shit scale of 1 to 5. 1 is only a little crappy. 5 is the worst pile of shit to walk the planet. And so today's piece of crap is the 2007 release of Bottom Feeder, starring Tom Sizemore, which that's all I saw when I picked this movie for us was Tom Sizemore, and I was like, winner.
I think that's the only big name that was attached. Actually, if you want to call Tom Sizemore a big name, attached to the movie. So
yes, I didn't recognize anybody else in there. We're gonna spoil this movie, so if you actually want to watch it, you should stop listening. But I don't recommend it. So there's a millionaire who gets burned in a car crash and then enlists a scientist for help in making some sort of potion. But I guess that's science. I don't know what the potion was supposed to do.
It was supposed to. Okay, so from what I gathered, it was supposed to regenerate body cells that had been injured or malformed. They said the guy said inert, and I'm sure he was trying to say injured, but I've never heard of inert as a word, so I could be wrong. And essentially, it's like. It's supposed to regenerate the cells and everything, but he has to consume this blue stuff, this blue, it looks like rice or liquid or something, or else the first thing he eats is going to be what is going to take shape to his body. The "you are what you eat" kind of thing that's like word for word what dude in the wheelchair said.
And I didn't catch that. I didn't get that whole portion. So I'm reading that beginning part, and it doesn't mention any of that fun stuff in there. It just says that the doctor is trying to make a serum that will regenerate the dead to also fix his wife who has leukemia.
Well, I don't remember that being brought up in it. I think whoever wrote Wikipedia must have watched the bootleg version.
We didn't get that one.
No, and it was like okay. So they got this guy in a wheelchair, this millionaire, and one half of his face is. Camera's not syncing up with my hands. Anyways, one half of his face is all mangled and stuff, and he's doing the best Mason Verger from Hannibal impression he can. He's all like, I kept waiting for him to say, "Cardell, get the money."
And he kept doing that thing with his tongue.
Yeah,
fine. Like, why?
And so he's got, and of course his team of little bodyguards and stuff is already pretty sketchy to begin with. He's got discount Jet Li, he's got discount Mulder and Scully, and it's like, okay, so what are we waiting for here? And they pick up the scientist, and they bring him, and the scientist guy is like. Well, I can't give you the serum here. I can't give it to you here and stuff. This is not the appropriate place for that kind of thing because it's like a warehouse, an old hospital.
Yeah, why were they parked in a warehouse the whole time? Like in the limo?
Because it's the best they could afford. Okay?
He didn't have an office or anything. He's like my limousine.
Yeah, pretty much. You know what? If you got the money and the limousine's big enough, I guess you can do anything, including surgery.
Film a whole movie in there.
Basically, I've seen less. And so, of course, they're all like, well, how are we going to know that this works? So they decide to try it out on the scientist. They attack him. They beat the hell out of him. They smash his hand. They shoot him in the thigh. They shoot him in the shoulder. I almost thought that they shot him in the genitals, but apparently not. And they get him in there, and they give him a whole friggin' injection. They said it had to be a measured amount. They give him a whole friggin' needle, and they lock the door, but they don't give him the blue stuff,
the protein
exactly to consume. So, he starts getting extreme hunger pains, just mad hunger pains.
Yeah.
And the only thing that's in the little cell he's in is a rat. So he jumps on said rat, goes to biting it, and then and the whole time it sounds like he's eating this like a really juicy Subway sandwich.
It took him forever to eat that rat, and
Yeah,
it wasn't that big. It was like 3 cut back 2 scenes, and he's still tearing. I'm like, there's nothing left of that.
right.
Like,
Yeah, it's like what are you trying to do? It's like I
Really
guess they were just doing the shock value. I guess
yeah.
because they didn't really have much else to go on. It well, it was okay. So we get the guy eats a rat, and of course because the serum will turn him into the first thing that he eats,
Which is weird.
Yeah, I don't really understand.
Does
how
that mean
that
if
works.
he would have had to eat a person? So maybe the protein is like human protein for him to stay human.
Yeah, I think so. I'm not a scientist, so
That's stupid.
Right. I mean, literally, I'll be honest. Literally, near the end of this movie, I was thinking, man, this would have made a great Jerry Blaze-Stone.
It's like you wrote it.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I didn't jump in until for me, the movie started up right when it goes to Tom Sizemore bringing his niece onto the landscaping crew or
Yeah. So there's this landscaping crew. They're landscapers. Yeah,
Okay,
I literally thought they were like crime scene cleanup or something because they're wearing badges and they're talking about selling medical supplies or something out of the back of a truck. It's Tom Sizemore, so he's up to no good no matter what.
He's got deals.
And basically, and he's got this crew of almost like The Millionaire, equally weird people.
Yeah,
he's got this. There's this older black guy, named Otis, naturally.
Yeah.
Then there's this immature guy, this immature young guy, named Callum.
With clip-on bangs.
Yeah. And he's trying to flirt with Tom Sizemore's niece.
Yeah.
And the way he does it is pretending to get his finger cut off in a lawnmower, and it's like
works every time.
You're slaying it, man.
Yeah. And then he's like, I don't know what I did wrong.
And she's having like nothing to do with it. Like she's like having nothing to do with any of these people. And I want to just go on record as saying the acting in this movie is basically like throwing a piece of wood at another piece of wood.
There was not a lot of chemistry between all the...
No. And the lack of facial reactions, when you're happy, when you're sad.
Yeah.
It was...
I think Tom Sizemore, I actually thought to myself, this is the best role I've seen Tom Sizemore in, and he didn't make me feel weird, but I think that's because the context that surrounded him in this movie it
made
him seem normal.
He was like the straight man in the comedy group, basically. Everybody else was a foil to Tom Sizemore in this film. And there were still times when I was like, oh, that's so typical. So they get a call at their little place, their current job. They get a call and they're being told that there's this old mental hospital nearby. Well, not nearby, and so basically what they have to do is they have to go and they have to get something out of so this is what I'm gathering. I might have misheard, but this is what I'm gathering. That they have to go and they have to get something out of this mental hospital. It's not told. I don't think they ever specify what it is. It's supplies.
So he's doing side deals for hospital supplies that are left over in the hospitals.
Right.
His work called him and told him he needs to flush the tunnels underground because, as he puts it, the beggars are moving in.
Okay, yeah, I guess
so
that.
They're like security guards and landscapers, and they've got to, I guess, shoo off homeless people, but they know all of them, so they're not doing a very good job.
See, I'm
And
glad
also,
that
like, why you call them beggars? Like, you're from the early 19. The beggars are moving into the tunnels.
oh my god, like I'm glad you paid enough attention to remember that, because I mean,
That part.
to me it was just like, oh, okay, they're going to a mental hospital. Why are they doing that again? Oh, okay, well.
Well, he was like, "What do you mean my tongue depressors aren't sterilized?" And I was like, "Oh, that's gross." That was like a weird addition in there. So when they get into the tunnels, and I didn't catch when the homeless gentleman, the Jamaican, who is a real Jamaican according to you.
You never know. You never know.
I thought for sure he was fake because it was so bad.
It was like a caricature,
Yeah.
a racist caricature of a Jamaican, a Rastafarian.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
it was distractingly bad. And then the subtitles would be like, says gibberish. And I'm like, he's clearly saying something. Like I could
well,
almost
you can understand it. That's just how they do it. They don't want to actually listen.
think he was living in the tunnel, or he had gone down to get away from the cops, and he lost his dog. And so the ground crew brought him out, and they were like, "Don't worry about it. We'll go down and find your dog," because secretly Tom Sizemore had to go get his illicit medical supplies.
Right.
And then somewhere they're like flashing in between back to this millionaire who's calling every 10 seconds for updates, but he's calling someone who's not even near the scientist.
Yeah, he's calling Miss Crindle, and so I guess there was a Cordell Crindle type, anyways. But back on the virgin thing, but so he calls her up, and she's all like, "Oh yeah, don't worry, we're on our way. We're gonna be getting back to the scientists soon," and and she's basically about to blow up this building, and they did not have. I'm assuming they didn't have the budget to show the explosion, so it just shows her like push a button and it blows up, and all you see is this explosion in her sunglasses.
Yeah,
because I know they probably didn't have the funds to actually CGI an explosion over this building, which, I mean, surprising, right?
That was the one thing I appreciated about this movie, is that they did not go for CGI. Like, they went full costume ridiculousness.
They very good practical effects. That is a plus. Yeah. I'll give it to them. They did a really good job with that, actually. Like they had buckets of fake gore when it got to the point.
Yes.
So back to the weirdos in the tunnel. Basically, they're looking for Sarge's dog, and Sheba, and you'll never forget what the dog's name is, because he brings it up all the time. He says
every
all the time. He's like, "Got to get Sheba." I'm not gonna pretend to be. I'm not gonna do the accent.
It'll be as good as his, I bet.
It would probably be better at this point, honestly. So what happens then is Callum and I forget the girl's name. Haley?
Oh, I didn't catch her name. Sam.
Well, that's how little of a character she meant to me, because I can remember everybody else's name in this movie except for her.
She didn't do anything. She was like mayonnaise. Basically.
Yeah, essentially. So Sam, that's the girl, and what's his name? Callum, that's the guy with the clip-on bangs, the pretty boy. Mm-hmm. They go into the tunnel, and they're talking, and he's trying to flirt, but he's doing a horrible job, and she's laying into him, and he turns towards a tunnel and stops, and then he turns back around, and he's all gashed up. He's all like blood's just dripping, just mauled and everything. And he falls. And what it is the scientist that had been injected with the serum and had eaten the rat is now a human, is like a bipedal giant rat with no fur. Because that's because they got to sustain some humanity, I guess.
1 ear.
Yeah, 1 year. Yeah.
I don't know why.
I couldn't tell you.
Maybe he only ate one ear, therefore he only grew one ear. Like,
But
he
I
didn't.
mean, he ate the whole rat, so he had to eat the whole rat. They showed him eating the whole
I think he ate
over and
multiple.
over.
Because when they went through the pan, you see like a tail and then another tail and then another tail. So I think he was just like munching on all of them. But
Probably.
somehow he only got one ear.
I mean, maybe that's just a side effect. I don't know. I'm trying to justify this movie, and I'm having a hard time doing it. Because
It was
yeah,
a winner. It was a winner.
it was.
You
I
were
mean,
so appreciative of me picking this for you. Your life would not have been
yes,
complete.
yeah. Honestly, it was great. Yeah, it was
So
Oscar material.
Callum gets eaten, and then somehow they're not locked in yet, so I don't know why they're still hanging around.
Because they're looking for the. I don't even think they were looking for what they were looking for by that point anymore. After Callum got eaten, they kind of just dropped the whole. Oh, we got to flush the tunnels and stuff. We got to, get the little side deal on the side and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So they're in there, and suddenly the Rastafarian guy gets brought in. They find him, and he's in there because one of the millionaire's henchmen, cronies, had taken him down there because he got a word from the female, the woman, and she was all like, "Well, don't forget, if he ever found out who we were really working for, we got to make sure that there's no witnesses left. There's no witnesses left if they see what has become of the scientist."
How are they going to tell?
Yeah. And so, yeah, so the Rastafarian guy, Sarge, he's down in there, and they come across him. But of course, the white guy, the agent, the crony, he disappears, and so it's like,
yeah, does he die? Because I just remember he just wasn't in it anymore after he sort of got everybody together in one group.
I think he did. I think so, because if I remember correctly, he got his face crushed in by the man rat, or rat man,
the man rat, the rat man. We can make a song about it, like the Scat Man.
Oh, but so they're looking for this dog, Sheba, and for some reason they're wanting to help Sarge find his dog because they're nice people, as you can tell from Tom Sizemore's, look throughout the whole film. And then what happens is the millionaire, he comes. I think around this time he comes to park outside the warehouse. No, I'm sorry. The female agent, hench lady, and her partner, they come to the warehouse to find what's become of the scientist. And the whole time they open up the door and they see that he's not there anymore. And they think, and they see all the dead rats, and they're like, "Oh my God, what's become of what's happened and stuff?" And the whole time they pass right by the blue protein on the ground that he very specifically told them in the beginning he needed to eat, and they don't even bring it up. They're all like, they don't even say, "Oh no, we forgot to give him that." It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Passed over.
And so they go down into there, and at this point, it becomes like a really bad X-Files episode, because every time you see the woman, you'll think Scully, because she looks like Gillian Anderson. And then you see the guy, and he's a very, very, very like great value Mulder. Mm-hmm. And they're all and if you didn't know that they weren't just working for the millionaire, she like blatantly says it into the camera, "Don't forget who we really work for."
Multiple times.
It's like, well, who is it? You work for somebody else? Color me intrigued. Color me surprised.
Which is funny because at the end of the movie, like, I was honestly like surprised the direction they went, but I should not have been, because she literally said it in every fucking scene. And I was like, how did I not catch that they were going to do, you know what I mean? I felt really stupid at the end. Like, it got me. So I know that they lock the tunnels. I don't know how they do it from the inside, but they lock the tunnels to keep the creature down there. And then they somehow get locked in with them.
Yeah.
And then people start dying.
Yes. People do start. I mean, look, of course, the first one that gets it is the male henchman that was with the lady.
Mm-hmm.
And then, he might have actually been the guy who brought the Sarge down into the tunnel and stuff. And
I think you're right.
Came and joined in with him later.
Yeah.
I promise I watched the movie. It was just very forgettable. And that's not a bad thing because I don't plan to ever watch it.
You're gonna want to forget this afterwards. Okay. Clear that space up in your brain.
And I've seen some shit, and it's like, this movie just, why is it bothering me?
It was like almost like it had no script. They like made a character. Someone in the little monster lab was like, I made this really cool Ratman thing. We need to use this. And then they like sort of built the rest around it.
Yeah.
Very shoddily.
Essentially, it's like they just, said action. Like,
yeah. And Tom Sizemore is like, don't worry, I got this.
Right.
Like, he knows what to do, and everyone's trying to follow his lead, and he clearly has no idea what to do.
I could see it. I honestly could. He's that take charge kind of guy. He's gonna, and he chews every scene he's in. He chews the scenery, and literally every time the camera's on him, he goes into these diatribes and all this kind of stuff, and it's like,
yeah,
oh, okay.
Okay. I actually, but like I said, I thought his acting job in this one, he seemed relatively sober. He was kind of on point compared to the rest of the cast. So they're inside, people are dying. The part that confused me was, how did the millionaire's limo get into a place where the tunnel's connected? Because he's like, at the end, they just start killing pretty much everybody, and I didn't even catch all of them.
Yeah, I mean, so Callum's dead. The agents are dead.
Mm-hmm.
The rodent dude, he comes out of the tunnel, and the limo is parked out there. And like you said, I don't know how he knew that's where to park at.
Mm-hmm.
Thing, and he's sitting in this limo, and he's got Discount Jet Li is next to him, or Donnie Yen or someone.
Who he's making put pills in his mouth, even though his hands work fine.
Right? Yeah, it's like, okay, I don't get it, but we'll go along with it. Why not? Everything's kind of off the rails at this point. Yeah. The people are running in the tunnel. Oh, Sarge got killed. The Rastafarian, I'm assuming, he got gunned down by the female agent.
Oh.
And she was like,
"That's rude."
And she was like, I'm a crack shot with this pistol. Blah, blah, blah. Like, and then she shoots this homeless guy in the back while he's running away. It's like 3 times. It's like, oh yeah,
she was lying. She was a crack shot.
Yeah, I mean, with prey like that. But so the millionaire is out in this car, and he's trying to call the lady and Miss Crindle. And by this point, Tom Sizemore has seized the gun because she got knocked down by the rat, and he has the gun, and he's not using it. He's just kind of just waving it around at everybody, and he's threatening. I remember a line from the movie. He says, "I'll put a bullet in your brain so fast you'll think you were born with it." And I was like, the genius of that line alone is worth the price of admission in this movie.
You were born with it. That's good. I better see that in your next short story.
Right, or some variation.
Yeah.
It's like, and so the millionaire, he's trying to call Miss Crindle, and Tom Sizemore has got the phone, and he's all like, "Oh, she can't come to the phone right now." And so then the rodent dude, he comes out of the tunnel, and I want to say Tae-Seng is the name of the
yeah.
Name of the agent.
I don't think that guy was saying it how it was spelled.
Probably not. Probably not.
The silent Asian henchman.
But yeah, exactly. The silent guy. He gets out of the limo, and the millionaire's like, "No, don't leave. What are you?" You're like, "Don't rave. What are you doing? Don't rave. And the guy he gets out. and he takes off his jacket, and it's supposed to, I guess it's supposed to be intimidating. And when the rat dude comes up to him, they actually do get into a fight. And for the first 2 rounds, the Asian guy is kicking ass. I mean, he's got knives. He's got 2 knives from out of nowhere, like some Mortal Kombat shit. And
that's what I was thinking.
He's hacking the dude and stabbing the rat guy. And then rat guy like just, overpowers him because he's like, dude, I'm like a beast and you're a human. And I was a human, but now I'm a beast. Why am I letting you beat me? So, and I thought they were going to like an inner monologue or something, and that was what was said. And so he attacks the Asian dude, kills him, and then he goes up to the limo and he starts beating on it, trying to open it up.
He's just like shaking it.
And the millionaire guy, he's in the limo, and he's like calling, and Tom Sizemore is like, hello. And he's like, I need you to come save me. I need you guys to come help me. And he's all like, well, as great as that sounds, I know dying isn't exactly on my list of things to do today. He's like, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do for me? He was all like, help me, help. And this is a life or death situation. And Tom Sizemore is all like, well, I need to know that we're gonna be compensated for this. And he's all like, anything, $1 million. And he's all like, oh, come on, man, really, $1 million? What am I? He's like, 2 million. And then they get into this bidding war, basically, where he's all like, where Tom Sizemore's all like 50, and then the millionaire's like 16. He's all like 42, like 30. And of course, by the time they settle on something, by then the millionaire gets ripped out of the window of the limo, and like gets his face bit off, and. And then Tom Sizemore is all like on the phone, and he's all like, oh, well, I guess we're not going to get paid.
Very lackluster response to that.
It kind of took me out of the movie a little bit because I was honestly trying to focus, and it's just the way he's back and forth with this guy over the price of money is like.
It lasted for quite a few minutes, and you're like, "Oh, okay, we get it. He's haggling."
I mean, I guess it was supposed to be comedy. I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess
the whole thing isn't already a comedy.
I just thought it was interesting that the creature like just Mortal Kombated their heads right off, both of them. And then he drags the bodies over to start eating just the bodies.
Yeah.
But I was like, why does he have to eat so many people?
Well,
he ate all the rats and the dog.
They showed a scene earlier. He was eating when he killed the male agent.
Mm-hmm.
When he killed the male agent and was eating him, you could see that like the wounds on his back were starting to heal, and looked like they were starting to turn more like they were starting to regrow human skin to him. So he might have been eating the people in an attempt to shed the rat exterior.
Okay.
And regain his humanity.
I think you just gave it a deeper level that it really didn't have, but I appreciate.
I mean, that's what I would have done if I was the director of this.
That makes sense. Yeah.
But that's why I don't make movies because I would actually try to give some actual psychological reasoning behind this hunk of shit.
Well, it certainly helps for the character development.
Sorry,
I'm dying over here.
Oh, it's fine.
So the Crendel, the lady, gets injured. They don't really show what happens to her, but somehow she hurts her leg, and she's at some point
I broke my foot.
Huh?
I broke my foot. I can't go much further.
But it was just her leg. It was very ambiguous, and then at some point she stops Tom Sizemore and is like, you go on without me, I'm going to hold him off because my leg, I'll never make it. And I'm like, you're totally fine.
Yeah, she was running just fine a second earlier.
For the whole point of the movie until then. And then I know that they were setting explosives.
Yeah, they were setting C4 charges because if you're going to have explosions in a movie, you have to have C4. That's just it. Nobody uses TNT anymore. It's C4.
Oh, noted.
And so this is from what I gather from years of watching this
really awesome movies.
because it's the most easiest to make. Look, all you got to do is get a little like a sandbag or something, set it up, stick a tube in it, and have a timer counting down attached to it. Oh, we got C4. You better run, and then don't actually show the explosion. Just make a loud booming
Just
sound
in her-
over the microphone or something.
In her sunglasses again.
Sunglasses, explosion, fire.
Yeah.
So by this point, Tom Sizemore, he tells Sam and Otis. My God. Anyways, tell Sam and Otis to get out of there, go, run away, save yourself. So they go up to the top, and Otis is all like, "Listen, Sam, I need you to get in the truck and get out of here. Go get help." And she's like, "Well, where are you going?" He's like, "I'm going back in there." She's like, "Well, I'm going too." And he's all like, "Okay, yeah, you really are his niece." and they drive home that she's his niece on like multiple times in the movie and stuff. I mean, at one point, the female agent, Miss Crandall, she literally tells Tom Sizemore, "I think that girl's hot on you." And he's all like, "Don't get sick. She's family."
That seemed really unnecessary, and then gave it a weird because it's not like she wasn't doing much acting at all in that movie, but at no point was she's like really on Tom Sizemore that they felt that needed to be in the script.
I thought I could have bought them as family. I mean, I didn't see. I mean, I guess Miss Crandall just she got some naughty ships. I guess I don't know. I guess she was writing her own fan fiction while the movie was going on, and they just let her slip that line in there. And
we're gonna have to look for that.
It was pretty dark. So they go back down. So basically, Tom Sizemore, he's down in there, and he's got the timer set, and it's like 4 minutes and counting. And suddenly, or it's like 40 seconds rather, and counting. And the rat guy appears, and Tom is going to shoot, and he clicks, and there's no bullets. So he just throws the gun at the rat guy because that always works, and it totally misses. It completely misses. Like it didn't even come within an inch of hitting him. So rat dude's coming up to attack Tom Sizemore, and then Otis and Sam suddenly appear right back in the tunnel, even though they took off running like 10 minutes earlier, and they suddenly appear at the speed of light, back there. And at this point, they're armed with like a giant saw, and like
that had no cord. Do they make battery powered saws?
I guess they. Yeah, I mean, if you're running a shady landscaping / security business, yeah, you gotta have battery powered equipment because you're never gonna know when you have a plug-in.
True, that's true.
Oh, and I don't know if we covered this already. This just popped in my head and stuff. The dog did not survive. So if you want to go, so you don't have to go to Does the Dog Survive?
No, that's right.
Or doesthedogdie.com.
But you don't see him die.
No, you just see like the gory remains and stuff. If this had been a Jay Blaze novel, there would have been dog. No, I'm just playing. I'm not that bad. No.
Okay.
And so. Watch me roast myself. No, so basically, Sam and Otis, they go to attacking the rat guy. They stab him. I think, if I remember, they stab him, and while he's momentarily dazed, she sets to sawing his arm off, and they spend a good minute on her sawing the creature's arm off without it freaking out and attacking her and stuff like that. It's just standing there, letting her saw the arm off. And the blood spraying all over him, splatter all over the place. And Tom's and then they shot him with a shotgun. They had the shotgun. They had shot him in the chest, and then Sam, the niece, got to work sawing the arm off.
Yeah.
And then she saws into him, and he falls. And we've established at this point that Tom Sizemore is a veteran. Even though the way everyone was looking at him it almost made me think that he had made it up because he's talking about being a Vietnam veteran, a POW, or as the subtitle said, a PWO, even though they didn't say that.
I got that too. What is PWO?
And the way Otis is looking at him tell the story, it's almost like either Tom Sizemore made it up on the spot or his character did. And I was legit kept waiting for the scene where they'd be all like, "You know, we're in Nom," and he was all like, "No, I just wanted to say it sound tough," but they never said that. So
He probably ad-libbed it.
probably, and the delivery. Yeah, it's Tom Sizemore, so he's gonna make it sound, you know, as brutal. He's all like, "I was a POW and Nom,
He's at least angry about it,
and I know about the military. They screw you over." It's like, I mean, I can identify with that. Yeah,
right.
I've heard horror stories, and so they got the rat guy on the ground, and Tom Sizemore, he's got the shotgun, and I don't even remember what he says because at this point I was kind of out of the movie.
He had a ton of one-liners, and none of them were worth me writing down.
Yeah, essentially. And so he pulls the trigger, and he shoots the creature, but he shoots it twice. And you can see the burst of fire on the first time, but on the second time you don't see anything. You hear the noise, but it does. It's just you just see the barrel of the gun, and that's it. They forgot to put in bull, and you don't get to see the creature's face after he blows it up with the shotgun, because by then the effects budget was over the limit.
They spent it all on when the Rat Man tears off Miss Crendle's jaw.
Yes, wonderful death. I mean,
they went full with that one.
They did. They really did. Yeah,
everything. And I was like, you could have done so much more with that scene. You should have saved that for the end.
Right? I mean, I wish that they could. I honestly wish we could have got. See, I like to see the heads explode when you shoot them with a shotgun and stuff, just to see if they ever. That sounds really morbid, but just to see if it's ever accurate. As I've seen, like in real, not that I've ever. I am not admitting to crime. No.
Okay. Noted.
Well, and sometimes they do a really good job of it. I mean, in some movies and stuff, they show like the whole head just tomato soup. And then in some, it's just you get a gaping hole in the side of the head. They didn't do it this time. They didn't show head explosion this time, and it was really irritating. But that could have just been me. I'm probably like 2% of people that I want to see the head explode. But
so accuracy.
I would like a little bit in the
someone
movie.
To do some research about what it sort of looks like for authenticity.
Exactly.
Well, we looked in the wrong place for that.
We did. So. We did. I mean, it would be like it was like, I don't know. At least they did a good job of what I imagine a Rat Man would look like. This seemed like a shady remake of Graveyard Shift by Stephen King.
Yeah.
The story where they have to go down into the tunnel, and there's rats galore, and there's a giant rat creature that eats people. I
forgot about that, but yeah, that's a good point. It's already been done.
Yeah, that's what it seemed like to me. So they killed the rat dude, and everybody's celebrating, and they turn around and it's counting down from 10, 9, and Tom Sizemore was like, "Oh no." And it's like 7, 6, and everybody turns to look at it. It's like 5, 4. It's like, you guys could be running. You could be going. I mean, y'all came back here at the speed of light. Let's see some of that flash run. Come on, get up there.
It took 10 minutes to get out. They still got 10 minutes to run.
Exactly. It's like, and it counts down, and then suddenly you see the explosion, the fire. That's where the CGI did come into play. Was the explosion and stuff. Just
for that tunnel, yeah.
And that's all they could do because they can't really blow the actors up. I wouldn't be upset, but I'm sure, their families probably would.
Sure.
So can you imagine the insurance? I mean, good Lord, the insurance budget for that movie must, if they were actually going to blow the actors up with practical effects.
I imagine more than what Rust's was.
Yeah.
Now, moving forward, everyone must have double insurance for murder.
Exactly. And so it's like, huge flames were coming towards them. There's no way they're going to get out. I literally thought it was the end right there, that it was just going to end with them exploding the tunnel, because that would have actually been, accurate, like we said.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, it cuts to black, and then it opens up to Tom Sizemore completely unburned. I mean, he should have
Yeah.
been looking like twice what Burned Millionaire dude was looking like. I mean,
Mhm.
he should have been like a crispy critter. And no, it's just Tom Sizemore. I mean,
It
he
looks
didn't
like he
even
woke up
his
from a
hair
nap.
wasn't even singed.
Uh-uh.
And he's laying there in this bed, and he's perfectly normal, perfectly fine. And there's this, I don't know. I thought it was Robert Joy, the actor. I thought it was Robert Joy was the doctor, but it wasn't, because I mean Robert Joy is also a name actor.
Hmm.
Probably wouldn't sign off for the shit. But and basically he comes in there and he's like, I want to let you know that, well, your niece survived, which we don't ever see her again, so take that with a grain of salt. And but I'm afraid the other man did not. So Otis died.
Hmm.
The black guy dies in a horror movie. Yeah, I mean, even in this day and
wasn't
age, they
first.
still got to do it. He wasn't first,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, I know.
he held his own, and that's raise the lighter, but, and so it turns out somehow that Tom and Sam, I totally don't even remember what Tom Sizemore's character's name was. I
Oh God, I've just been calling him Tom.
right. That's all I called him in the movie too.
Oh, Vince. His name is Vince.
Vince, yeah. So Vince and Sam, um, they are infected with the serum, because when they were killing Rat Dude, his blood got on them and mixed with their blood somehow.
It's in their mouth, I bet.
I don't know, and they must have had a hell of cavities then, because I don't know.
It's Tom Sizemore. You don't know what he's got going on in there.
Oh my god. I was gonna make a very poorly timed meth joke, but I'm not gonna do it now. So the doctor tells him, "Well, you've been infected with the serum, and we got your country wants to thank you for the experiments and the sacrifice you're going to make." And they're trying to make this guy sound super ominous.
Yeah.
And he's coming across again like a piece of wood.
Very
And
grandfatherly, I thought. Like,
yeah,
a lot, buddy.
yeah. And so Tom Sizemore is all like, suddenly he's over, after hearing about this, mind you, he's suddenly overcome with the hunger pains, and he's going crazy, and he wants to eat. He needs to eat, and they start giving him the blue stuff, which I thought the scientists said the blue stuff is what you needed to eat, so you didn't end up changing into because that's what he said. He said you need to eat the blue stuff so you won't end up changing into something else. And so he shouldn't have been freaking out with hunger pains. The blue stuff should have been filling.
They were, yeah.
It should have been, yeah, it should have been, he should have been, and he was given a sedative, supposedly.
Yeah.
Now, if you ask me, I think that he wasn't actually infected with the serum. I think the sedative that he was given was the serum mixed with a sedative, or maybe there was.
And then he turns on
then he turns on the thing and stuff because up to this point, Vince and everyone else didn't know about said serum exactly, because the agent had just said that they were the reason why. So the reason why Discount Mulder and Scully were going around trying to find the Rat Dude and kill everybody was because they work for the government or somebody. They work for NSA or Area 51 or something.
Just somebody, the military.
They work for them, the Men in Black, and so they had to stop the serum from getting into the hands of the bad guys that aren't even there. They can't let Rat Dude out, because otherwise the KGB or someone's gonna hunt him down.
They're like, you know what Russia needs? More rat men.
Yes, exactly. I could very easily see this being flipped on its head and remade in Russia, with the CIA being the.
I would watch it though if it was remade in Russia.
I would too. I mean, the subtitles would at least be 10 times better than they were in English.
Exactly. I don't think Amazon Prime is on its subtitles game. I think that your version of how that ended is a lot more intelligent than what they showed on the screen. So I'm going to go with that. And I know that they sort of left off like he's screaming and they're dripping the stuff into him. What would you rate this?
Oh my God. Well, okay. Story wise, it's shit. Acting wise, it's shit.
Yeah.
Character development, it's beyond shit. Because beyond Rat Dude, nobody develops unless they die.
The rat.
Well, I said beyond Rat Dude.
Yeah, you're right.
Nobody develops unless they die. Like, if death is the next step in their evolution, they pass with flying colors. Because they did not, nobody gained anything. Callum did not get the girl.
Nope.
Girl did not get
whatever
career with the job, I guess.
Landscaping.
Vince did not get the millions of dollars or the beer money. Otis did not get to live.
Right.
And all the time they're calling him old man, and there's no way he's older than Tom.
He was younger than Tom Sizemore.
Exactly. I mean, okay. And so, and then Mulder and Scully, they did not save Ratman or kill Ratman. Ratman did die though, so I mean that's a plus. And Millionaire Dude didn't get to be rehabilitated and have his face brought back and be taken off the poorly shown dialysis scene. At the time, I didn't even know what was going on. It was like in the way in the beginning and stuff. After they locked the site stuff, he's attached to this. You can see it's like a machine that cleans the blood and stuff, but it's so out of the way and everything that you don't even know what's going on. All you see is this dark bag of like liquid and stuff that's attached.
I think he was supposed to be getting like blood transfusions.
That might have been what it was.
My first thought was it was, you know, sometimes old people who are rich will get like young people blood transferred in.
Well, I've heard of that. I mean,
never
my bank account's never been enough to afford it, so I couldn't.
That's what I assumed.
And Sarge did not get his dog or get to live, so I think he got the worst of it. And in the beginning, it is shown the scientist does have a wife. Don't get attached to her, because after that 5-second clip, she never appears again.
Yeah.
Like, he has a picture that gets lost and it gets stepped on, and that's it. They don't ever bring it up again. Although when Miss Crindle was about to get her face ripped off by the Rat Man, she's all like, "I'll tell your wife." You know, I'll tell you why.
That's why you ripped her jaw off. And that
it was.
Like, he had that shred of his own humanity left in him.
Yeah, basically, it was shit. And so acting, character development, storyline, effects. The effects are not shit. The effects are good for what this movie is.
I thought so too.
This movie is a low budget creature feature.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming probably made by Shudder or someone.
I have to check.
They did a good job with the practical effects, because you don't hardly see practical effects anymore. Everything's CGI now. And while that's a loaded gun in itself, because some practical effects can suck.
These were fun, I thought.
Yeah, these were great. This was great stuff. Now, they only used a little bit of CGI for like the explosion, and that was probably it. Although maybe some of like when his back is slowly turning more human and stuff, when he's eating the male agent, maybe that was CGI. I'm not a special effects designer, so I couldn't tell you. But basically, I think that the movie. So out of everything, the effects were great.
You're having a hard time with this one. 1 to 5. Worst pile of shit. 1 is just a little shitty.
I'll give it a 4.5. How's that?
Oh, I think that's the highest we've had. 4.5 out of 5.
4.5, just because the effects were worth the price. Were worth the
0.5.
They were worth it. That's the only thing that saves this hunk of garbage from being a good movie. Or
That's
a shit
a
movie.
strong opinion. I gave it a 1.75 out of 5 because if it came on again, I would probably watch it just for the rat scenes. Like I wouldn't be on a rush to turn it off.
I mean, this is something I put on to go to sleep to.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, I did. That's how I found it the first time. As I woke up and I was like, "What is playing on my TV?" And then I was like, "This is perfect. I'm gonna make somebody else watch this with me."
Heck
But
yeah.
then it was terrible. So, are you ready to answer my silly questions?
Let's go for it. I am all ears.
Okay.
And I have two, unlike the rat.
Yeah. Oh, it's like what? Get it? Rat jokes. What is your favorite shitty movie?
Well, I'd have to say my favorite shitty movie would probably have to be Jaws 4, The Revenge.
Oh,
Nothing better than
any
the
of them. I love
yeah.
those.
I mean, like, have you ever seen Jaws 4?
I don't know if I've seen the fourth one.
Well, I don't want to spoil it for you or anything, but
Is that where they're on an island and the wife is like really
Yes.
old? Yes, I have seen that one.
Okay, so yeah, she's having flashbacks during the climax to the first movie where she wasn't even there, of her husband, killing the shark.
Uh-huh.
Depending on which version you get to watch, they either stab the shark with the bow of the ship and it bleeds to death, or they stab the shark with the bow of the ship and it just explodes, just automatically explodes.
I think I've seen the explosion one.
And but first of all, the way they get the shark up to actually do that, they're shooting a transmitter or something, like camera flashes that are driving it crazy, and the shark starts raising its head out of the water every time you hear the shing, shing, like that, and every time they do a shing, it's like you hear the shark go roar. It's like sharks don't even roar. What? And they what it is it's recycled roaring from a Tom and Jerry cartoon.
Oh, weird. Now I'm gonna have to watch that one.
They and it's because they asked the special effects or the sound designer to make a shark roar, and he said sharks don't roar. I can't make a shark roar. I don't know what it would sound like. They don't have vocal cords, so they reused this noise from Tom and Jerry, and the shark starts lifting itself up out of the water. This is a shark. It doesn't have legs. It doesn't have arms.
It needs speed for lift.
And it lifts itself up off the surface of the water till it's standing straight up out of the water. And you see the ship moving, and the shark is like standing all the way up, and the ship is still moving.
And maybe I haven't seen this.
They stab the shark, and then the shark's like moving back and forth. You see the blood flying out of the side of its mouth. And finally, it falls back in the water, and the ship and breaks the bow off of the ship, and the whole ship for some reason goes down. And you see this really poorly made shark doll with a ship made out with like a broken ship made out of popsicle sticks sink to the bottom of the swimming pool, and then when it gets back to them in the water and stuff, you can see like the waves in the background are splashing against a screen because it shows that they're not actually in the ocean; they're in a giant set, an ocean set.
I'm gonna have to watch that one now. I don't remember that at all. I remember the exploding part, but now you're pointing out all these really entertaining details.
I mean, it was great. I mean, in the beginning, what's his name? The youngest brother, he winds up getting his arm bit off by the shark, and it's so wonderful. He reaches over the side of the boat to unjam a log from a buoy, and suddenly shark comes out of the water, and they used a pre-cut from later in the film of the shark raising up out of the water as the scene. So suddenly it goes from completely night to the shark attacks, it's suddenly daytime, and then it's back to being night, and he's falling over the side of the ship, and it's ripped his arm off, like his arm is all bloody and stuff, but you can see his arm moving underneath the jacket. And then the shark attacks again, and they recut the friggin' daytime shark attack scene into this, and they just do several jump cuts of that. And when it cuts back to the guy, he's in the water, the boat's going down, and it's like that was the greatest shark attack scene I never got to see because, judging from the the blood and the torn up ship, I bet that would have been pretty cool. But we didn't get to see it. And the only sad thing about it, I mean, other than the fact that it's a terrible way to end the Jaws legacy, unless you want to count Cruel Jaws as the true continuation, even though that movie was an Italian parody or it was an Italian ripoff.
I've never heard of that one.
Every time you see the shark in Cruel Jaws, it's recycled footage from other shark films.
That's an easy way to do it. And
the whole setup is they just recycle plot lines from other movies, and
it's like a montage movie.
Basically, yeah. And like it's just so unbelievably terrible that they tried to pass this off as a Jaws film. I'm serious. Go look up when you get a chance. Look up the shark fire attack scene from Jaws 2, and then look it up from Cruel Jaws, and you tell me literally which
I'm writing it down. I gotta go look at it now.
Like you tell me which one looks better, because I'll tell you right now, the one with an actual studio behind it does look better. But back when I was saying it, the sad thing about Jaws 4 is that it was it has Judith Barcy as the oldest son, Mike's daughter. Mm-hmm. She was the voice of Anne Marie from
All Dogs Go to Heaven.
Oh. And yeah, she's just so sweet and so tiny and so.
Does she get eaten?
No. She almost does. She's on a banana boat. And what happens, a banana boat, one of those, I don't even know if they have them anymore. It's like this multi-kid boat that is on a beach. Shark comes up, half its body completely out of the water, comes up on the beach to attack Judith Barcy's character, misses, takes the lady off the back of it, and bites into her. And then the shark slowly sinks back down into the water.
That's not how sharks work.
Right, but yeah, it was Judith Barcy's. I think it was her last movie. She was murdered not long after that by her father, and the guy who played her father in the movie was a pallbearer at her funeral.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, Michael Caine is in the movie. Alfred from the Christopher Nolan movies. Caine, yeah, he's in the movie. He's a pilot, no less, and. He said he did the movie for financial purposes, even though shooting it caused him to miss getting the Oscar for Hannah and Her Sisters, the Woody Allen film that he was in. Yeah, he wasn't able to go. He wasn't able to leave the filming to go collect his Oscar, so he didn't even get to do that. But
that's a weird excuse.
They quoted him a couple of years ago. And they said, well, what they were talking about is the movies he was in, like Zulu and stuff like that. And they're like, well, what about Jaws 4? And he's like, oh, I've never seen it. From all accounts, it's a terrible movie. But the house that it paid for, I have seen that, and it's just terrific.
That's hilarious. He's got his priorities in order. So that's your favorite shitty movie. What's the worst movie you've ever seen? What movie do you hate?
Horror movie or just any movie in general?
Any movie.
Well, that's a long list. I have most recently the August Underground trilogy.
I've never heard of that.
It's shoestring budget horror movies about these idiots that run around killing random people, and they get into the gore and the splatter. I refuse to call it splatter punk because even though it has very big elements of splatter and punk to it, it's just garbage. It's just trash. It's found footage films basically. And it's just these three idiots. These people, they're screaming. They argue with each other constantly. They scream at each other. They bitch at each other. They eat anything. They go about killing, raping, spree where they're like breaking into people's houses and stuff like that. I mean, you got all this just terrible stuff going on. But it's terrible because it's terrible for the shock value. That's all it is. It's shock value. You don't know these characters. You don't even know the victims. They mean nothing. All you see is this innocent person is being, or innocent as far as you know, because you just saw him come on the screen. This innocent person is being like having their guts ripped out, or they're being forced to castrate themselves with cuticle scissors, because that's a real thing.
It's kind of like just torture porn for no reason.
Basically. And I see so many people. I see other book authors get on there and be like, "Oh, August Underground's just the craziest thing I can't do." It's like, were you watching the same film I was? I don't think so, because that film was more annoying than anything. All it is people screaming at each other for, I don't know, 45 minutes or 60 minutes or whatever.
I've never even heard of it, but
I gave it a rating on Facebook. I said I was thinking maybe like a soft 1 to like a strong, my nuts. Cool things. Now, when it comes to like worst movie of all time that I have ever seen, I'd have to say it's a cross between the remake of Old Boy by Spike Lee.
Okay. I think I've seen that, actually.
Because the Korean version is where it's at.
The
Korean version is garbage. And they completely just destroyed the whole premise, the whole idea and stuff. Just completely ruined it. And then the other worst movie I've ever seen was probably that Cruel Jaws movie.
But it was also your favorite. Oh, no, that was Jaws 4. That was your favorite. Not
Jaws
Cruel.
4 was my favorite. Cruel Jaws, or Jaws 5, or whatever they pirated it under.
Jaws 70 million.
Yes.
What kind of horror genre is your favorite, and how do you like to imbibe?
My favorite, I love slashers. I love slasher films. I love 80s, 70s, 80s grindhouse. That's my shit. Giallo films from Italy. Those really stylized, stylish Italian murder mysteries that always had lots of nudity and lots of gore. I mean, that's what I love. Tubi is my go-to because they have all that. I mean, they got like everything. The Bay of Blood, The Strange Vice of Mrs. Ward.
I've never seen Bay of Blood. I keep hearing about it, though.
You need to watch Bay of Blood, because if you appreciate Friday the 13th Part 2, you will love a Bay of Blood.
Bay of Blood.
And like Friday the 13th, for instance, I love Friday the 13th films. I grew up in the woods of the Midwest. I always worry that there's a slasher or somebody coming just stalking me in the middle of the night. I love Friday the 13th, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, probably my favorite. Last House on the Left. I Spit on Your Grave. The old one was okay. The remake was kind of crap. And then but when it comes to like movies like Saw and stuff, the first Saw was good. Every Saw after that was repetitive. It was just gore. It was just gore fest. And I know that sounds kind of cheap coming from me, but I like a little consistency. I like a little plot.
You like a storyline.
I like a storyline. Yeah, exactly. I don't. If I'm gonna watch or read Gorn, gore porn, then
a new word.
No, I wish I could claim it, but TV tropes beat me to it.
Okay.
But if I'm gonna watch Gorn, it's gonna be. That sounds like that's also a Star Trek character. So any Trekkies that watch this and automatically assumed I was talking about Gorn the alien.
They're like, why does he like sci-fi so much?
Here's to you. But I mean, I didn't like Friday, but I didn't like Number on Elm Street, and that's a slasher. I don't like Halloween. They're boring. Halloween films are boring. Michael Myers is boring. He didn't have any personality. Well, then I guess Jason Voorhees doesn't have a personality either. But
I would actually say Jason Voorhees has more personality than Michael Myers.
Exactly. I mean, I can agree with that because like he lived in the woods. He kills people.
There
Um,
was a reason for all of that. Michael Myers is kind of like, yeah, he just wants to kill people because he saw boobs when he was a kid. Like, okay,
it drives people crazy.
I guess. So does that mean movies are probably your favorite way to intake horror, or do you like to read? Do you like audiobooks?
I love to read, but it's easier for me to picture things by watching.
That's fair.
Unlike, so for instance, The Burning. Have you ever seen The Burning?
Ugh, I don't think so.
The Burning is a film that came out after Friday the 13th. And it's about this, and it's based on the urban legend of Cropsey. It's about this caretaker gets set on fire, comes back years later to the camp that he was set he was at the barbecue at,
Mm-hmm.
and and he's killing people, and you got Jason Alexander, George from Seinfeld, he's in it, and all these other people, and it's got some themes to Jalo because the killer is wearing the black hat and the trench coat. He's stabbing people, and first thing he does is when he gets out of the hospital, he picks up a streetwalker and takes her back to her place, and then like kills her with a pair of scissors and all this kind of stuff. And
That's rude.
it was so great. It was so sleazy. It was so beautiful. See, I love my favorite author is Richard Lehman. I love Richard Lehman books. Richard Lehman is like the king of splatterpunk, and he's a big inspiration for me. I mean, fast-paced storylines, really bland character development, lots of gore, lots of sex, lots of action, and I think that movies like that, these Friday the 13th clones, are excellent concepts of like what a Richard Lehman book would be like if it was if any of his books got turned into movies, which surprisingly none have. Well, one got turned like a student film or something, but so yeah, I would say that watching movies is easier for me to take in horror and get. I'm very desensitized at this point. I watch anything just to see if it will give me a fright. People are always telling me, "Oh, you need to watch a Serbian film," or "You need to watch Martyrs." And I'm like, "I've seen them. They don't do anything
bad."
I don't. But people want to say they like, well, if you're really desensitized, you need to watch The Angel's Melancholy. I'm like, I've seen it. It's not. You've never seen that?
No.
Oh, that's a German film. It's like Serbia. It's like a Serbian film. I mean, it's just.
I tend to. I've seen Martyrs. I don't like pointless gore. I like it to have a point. So for me, those ones, I tend to skip those ones, especially if I make my kids watch it. I kind of don't want them to be desensitized quite yet to that kind of stuff. But,
yeah, no, I understand that. I also, I just got to point out, I heard that your video on 47 Meters Down Uncaged.
Yeah, yes.
I got to say that movie was so much better than the first one. Because
it was, yes.
The first one was a middle finger at the end. I felt like they were giving me the finger at the end of the first one. So in the second one, I don't care how stupid it is, how weird it is, how unrealistic it is. She's underwater, she's screaming, she shoots the flare gun underwater and hits the shark. Perfect. I would rather have that than it was all just a dream.
Yeah. Yeah, no, we didn't actually. I don't think we finished the first one. It was so bad. The second one we both decided was one we'd probably watch again, but it was really stupid, plot line wise. But it was fun. I thought
it was so crazy, and Sylvester Stallone's daughter is in that movie, and it's like,
which one's the daughter?
She's the one that when they got the rope and they're climbing up out of the pit and stuff. She's the one that goes crazy from the sharks and tries to climb up the rope immediately and brings it down, and she gets like torn in half by the sharks.
I didn't know that was interesting. I'll have to tell my daughter.
Sistine Stallone.
Well, her acting was real great. About as good as her dad's.
Right.
What would you like to see more of in horror in general, whether it's movies or books or whatever? What's an untapped market for you think needs more development
Well,
or representation?
I'd like to see more positive Jewish characters. That sounds weird, but
No,
I
it doesn't.
I I don't you don't really get that many Jewish characters in movies anymore and stuff.
Yeah.
And they're usually played by, and if they are, sometimes they're played by Jewish actors and sometimes they're not. And
Yeah.
I'm Jewish and I like to see, and I like to watch movies that have like that kind of thing and stuff. I think it'd be cool to see more of that kind of element in the movies, some actual good representation and everything.
By Jewish actors.
By
That's
Jewish
the
actors
added
playing
part.
Jewish
Yeah.
characters. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean,
I
and
agree.
but I also, when it comes to horror, I would love it if we could stop with the frickin' jump scares. Scare us with the atmosphere. Scare us with the characters. Scare us with the unknown of everything. For me, what gives me chills is the concept of this person has been killing people for God knows how long. You
Mhm.
know, he's got all kinds of characters. In the beginning of Hostel, for instance, Hostel was a crap film, but in the beginning of Hostel, it shows the dude, the big bulbous dude, and he's burning people's belongings in a fire, and
Mhm.
he's going through it and pulling out pictures of happier times that the victims had and stuff. The thought that these people, we didn't even get to see them. They look like they're having fun, and yet here they are having all their possessions burned and
Mhm.
basically being erased. Family's never going to hear from them again. That's a scary thought to me. The scary thought to me is being forgotten, especially
Yeah.
or being going missing, and they'll never find you and stuff. That is something I like when in horror and stuff. I wish more films would focus on the unknown, on the thought of how characters react. Reactions are more scary than actual like jump scares and stuff, because the jump scares have become so cheap nowadays. Oh, she's opening up the refrigerator or the freezer or something. She's reaching in, and suddenly she closes it. Boom!
Mhm.
Nobody's there. And then
I
she
think
turns around, and then suddenly the killer's there.
I think they add jump scares in for the people that don't like horror and who don't want to pay that close of attention to the actual storyline. But I will say I put jump scare kind of stuff in my own writing because I think it's fun to like
Oh,
elicit that own response in myself.
yeah, yeah. No, I can agree with that.
I think a couple well-placed ones are okay, but overall, doesn't need to be the whole movie.
I admit, when it comes to like writing and stuff, jump scares, I don't really know how to do it. So it could, so I'll usually leave it off to like I'll usually kind of trail off what the character's doing, and then suddenly the killer is attacking, and if that's a jump scare, I guess I'm
Yeah,
guilty of it
kind of.
myself. But when it comes to actual, but I'm more interested in cliffhangers basically.
Hmm.
I love the cliffhanger. What's going to happen? Turn the page and see what happens next. And people tell me, they're like, your books are page turners. I'm like, well, I would hope so and stuff. Otherwise, you're bored. What am I
That's
doing
the
here?
whole point. Exactly. Do you have anything upcoming you'd like to share with everybody?
Like
Work of your
movies?
own. No. Yes. I
Well,
hope you tell
I'll
us.
tell you what. The first time I get an upcoming, I get a feature film off
Uh,
any of my books, I will let you know. I will.
okay, we're
I
gonna
will.
watch it.
We will watch it, and then we will
Together.
critique. We will roast the hell out of it. Uh,
No, I mean your upcoming stories or books.
Oh, okay, yeah. No, I've got all kinds of books coming out. I'm writing a novelette or a novella. I don't write novels. Just I don't know if you know that or not.
Okay.
I don't write novels. I write novellas or novelettes because I think that they're a unappreciated market, and I want to make the novelette great again, to paraphrase politics. And
Okay.
so I've always got a novella or a novelette coming every month.
Oh, wow.
Last month or this month was Deadly Seed, and next month is Don't Tell a Soul, and it's about like this. Like here's the brief. The it's about three guys are being stalked, and hunted by a disfigured man who 10 years earlier they stopped from killing one of their friends after they found him murdering and raping and murdering a woman in the woods. So they stopped. They shot him in the face with like a shotgun, and now 10 years later, he's come back and he's hunting them.
Oh,
And it's very gory, very gruesome stuff. And I mean, it's Jay Blaze. What do you expect?
right.
But and I've also got a couple of collaborations I'm working on. I've got a book. I got books set for every month, well into I want to say probably July
Wow.
of next year. I'm currently working on. I just finished one called Crystal Meth. It's not about a drug though. Well, the drug does show up, but it's not. It's not. It's the character's name is Crystal Meth.
Mm-hmm.
And that's about a woman named Crystal Meth who lives in the woods of Oklahoma, and she hunts, tortures, and murders pedophiles.
That sounds awesome.
Oh yeah, it's from what I've heard, people are saying it's really good. So far be it from me, I have no opinion. I just wrote it. And but I'm working on one now, and it's called Massacre at the Moonlight Stallion. And what it is it's about a sleazy adult theater in New York during the 80s called the Moonlight Stallion, and there's a slasher villain who lives in like the attic used for storage, and he comes down and he murders the patrons and stuff. I'm about halfway into it and stuff. I usually write 16,000 words in a day, and that's the book, because I kind of just cap off after that. Can't go on. I don't do long-winded work. It's not me. But more power to everyone who does. I am truly jealous at everybody who puts out a 30, 40, 50,000 word book. You guys are the best, because I sure as hell can't do it. So
yeah. Where can people find your stuff?
Amazon, Godless. I've been so blessed with Godless. Top 10s.
Yeah, you've been on the top 10 for a while.
Yeah, it's so great and stuff. I'm proud to say I'm a bestseller on Godless.
That's awesome.
But yeah, Godless. You can find some books on Godless that they're not in Amazon.
Okay.
So that's a big plus, like Tongue of Satan, Stalker, Heinous. Big warning on Heinous. It's only 4,000 words, but it is heinous. Let's just say you'll never truly appreciate the concept of talking shit again without thinking of that book.
Okay.
And then I have my own website now, jblazehorror.com. And you can find my merchandise. I got shirts that say "I survived Chapter 9 of Deadly Seed."
I saw the picture. I'll link that in the show notes for people as well, so they can.
Oh hell yeah! Thank you. Thank you so much.
What is there anything you have been taking in this week? Final question, that has not been a piece of shit. Books, movies.
Anything that hasn't been a piece of shit?
Yes.
Oh God. I did rewatch it. I did rewatch an old one that I enjoyed and stuff. It's a romance. It's not horror though. Yeah. I do have a soft side sometimes. It's very unusual. It's like an indie film. It's called Copenhagen, and it's about this guy who goes to Denmark, Copenhagen, Denmark, to find his long lost family, and he's immature, complete total douchebag. And I'm selling the movie so well so far, right? And he meets this girl, and they have a mutual attraction, but it turns out she's actually only like 15 years old. And he's all like, well, he knows I can't do anything because it's not right. And the whole time she's like, well, I'll be 15 in a couple of weeks. It's fine. It's got an age of consent in Denmark is 15. But they don't go there. They don't go there. It's very tasteful. It could have gone so wrong, but it's a very tasteful film. And I mean, the soundtrack, the cinematography, everything. It's beautiful movie. Beautiful movie.
Copenhagen.
They do not. I will just spoil it now. They do not hook up.
Oh, good.
They do
That
not go.
makes me feel better.
They get close, but it does not go there. And it's shot tastefully though. So, and there's character development of all things. There's character development.
Your favorite thing.
Exactly. It needs to happen. Otherwise, it's stunted.
Exactly.
I see. I was gonna go see Longlegs, but I feel like I was lied to. If you read my books, you notice I love the human leg. The movie is not about legs
At
it's
all.
False advertising.
0 legs.
0 legs. And so I'm not gonna watch that shit. So I did go. This week, because I did go and see Maxine last week, but that was a piece of shit. And so I read a good book. I read Splatology
2.0,
Splatology, whatever. 2.0. Good book, excellent book. I love all the authors in there. I mean, great people as far as I know from the ones that I've met. I mean, some of them might not be nice in real life. I don't care. Their stories are good. And I read another one. Well, I feel so bad. I don't remember what it was called. It was a good book, though. It was a good book.
Okay. Well, you read 2 good books this week.
I read 2 good books this week. And I saw an old romance, an old indie romance coming of age film that was good. And as much as I want to say, oh, the what was it? Bottom Feeder was such a good movie. No, it wasn't. I'm not gonna.
No, it wasn't.
So that movie will not be counted on the list of good movies I've seen this week.
Oh, good.
But yeah.
Right, do you have any other stuff about your work you wanted to share? I know you said got one coming out every month, and it's coming out on Godless and Amazon. Do you have any up on the Unveiling Nightmares website?
The Honkening.
The Honkening.
The Honkening is free. The Honkening is free on as ebook on the Unveiling Nightmares website.
I'm gonna link that too. I think more people need eyeballs on that one.
I've had over 300 downloads from the BookFunnel app. So I mean,
oh wow!
Of all the books that could have reached bestseller status, that one.
Well, we're gonna get a sequel, right?
Oh my god! What on earth? People want sequels of all my stuff. They're all like, "So are we gonna get a Deadly Seed sequel?" I'm like, "Well, are we gonna get an Arachnocunt sequel?" I'm like, "I don't." And they're like, "We get a Honkening sequel?" I'm like, what the hell? You cannot honestly tell me the story was good.
Geese are an untapped market. You gotta expand.
So are ferrets. Trust me, I went down that road too. And
yes, I do say that is my favorite story title of yours because every time I read it, it makes me laugh. I don't know why.
Flock of Ferret Frenzy?
Yes.
Oh.
It just rolls off the tongue so nicely.
It was whenever anyone asks me, they say, "Well, what's the first book of yours I should read to get me into the mindset or the idea of Jay Blaze?" I say, "Flock of Ferret Frenzy," because that's where I really found my footing and stuff.
It's beloved.
It is, and it almost became a meme, just like Arachnocunt did.
I don't think I've seen the memes.
I've seen a couple of them. It's
you
funny.
Didn't make it, somebody else did.
They're kind of cheap, but they're funny. No, I don't make them myself. I suck at making memes. Like I can't. I don't know how to do it. Like I'm not computer literate. I only recently downloaded TikTok, and it's like everybody, and I get on there and people are sharing reviews and they're talking about the books, and I'm over here like a cover.
Yeah, I'm a little late to the TikTok. My kids help me out though. I'm lucky with that one. Thank you for being a guest with my shitty movie this week, and I promise next time
thanks for having me on here and stuff. This is a lot of fun. Shit.
I won't pick a rat one next time. We'll go a different animal direction. Maybe a goose. Maybe we can find one about geese.
I
Okay.
mean, that got to be out there. That's an untapped market, like you said.
That's our new project. Okay, so if anybody else has thoughts on this piece of shit, you can email or leave messages or leave a comment, but I doubt it because I don't think anybody else has seen this but us.
Yeah.
So if you have something to say about it, you can email me at simmfwpodcast@gmail.com, but I don't expect anything.
Don't email me because they won't get a reply.
Yeah.
At least
follow us on Instagram, and please go out and watch shitty movies so that we can talk about them together.
Just not this one.
No, not this one. Thanks, Jerry.